fost odata, canici odata. Once upon a time there was a boy, and his mother had died, and his father married again, but his new stepmother was cruel and heartless and treated him unkindly, as did her daughter, his new stepsister. When they were eating at the dinner table, "I don't want to see that boy here any more," said the stepmother. "I never want to see his face again. Send him away, husband." "But he is my son." "Send him away. Either he goes or I go." An unhappy father sent his boy away. He was about your age. And he left his home. And he walked and he walked and he walked. And after a long time walking, he came to the farm of a rich man. And the rich man said, "If you look after my cattle, my oxen and my milk cows and my bulls, you can stay here and I will feed you." And the boy stayed working for that kind farmer, and he worked hard. Day in, day out, month in, month out, year in, year out. For 7 years he worked for the rich farmer until he had grown into a fine young man. And he said one day to the farmer, "I must go." "Why?" said the farmer. "Have you found a better job?" "No, indeed. You have treated me well, but I must go back to my father. I long to see him." "Of course you must go," said the rich farmer. "For all of your hard work, look among my cows and my bulls and my oxen and choose one to take with you." Oh, the boy was grateful. He looked at the strong bulls, but thought, well, that would be taking too much from the farmer. He looked at the milk cows, but then he looked at one of the oxen, an ox that had pulled the plough in the fields, and the ox gazed at him. Long horns, large brown eyes. "I will take this ox." He led the ox away from the rich farmer towards his own home. And after many days' journey, they arrived. And his father was delighted to see his son. "You've returned, and what a fine ox you have brought. What do you call your ox?" "Oh, I call this ox Tellerchen." "Good," said his father. "You will graze the ox out in the fields with my other cattle." And so the boy did it. His father was pleased to see him, but his stepmother was not. "Why did you let him back here? He has no place here anymore. He left and he should remain gone." "Oh, but he is my son." The next day, the stepmother made a cake for the boy. When he took it into the field, in the middle of the day, when he was hungry, he opened up the cake and he found, when he tasted it, it was made of ash. He could not eat it. It was horrible.
Here's the oven that's made up the ash from, and here's all the ash one, and there's only one bit nicer to taste that cake, and that's the icing.
The next day, the cake that his stepmother baked for him again was made of ash. Ash from the fire, after the fire. I mean, you couldn't swallow it. He was getting hungrier and hungrier, weaker and weaker, paler and paler, iller and iller. After several days, he was so weak he sat on the grass and he cried. And his ox, Tellerchen, came to him. And to his amazement, Tellerchen spoke. "Throw your troubles away, be brave and be strong. Just do as I say, and nothing goes wrong. my right horn from my head, and in it you will find food. The boy twisted the horn from Tellerchen's head, and from inside the horn he took bread, fine white bread with a golden crust. And there was a glass filled with wine. And he drank down the wine, and it was the best he had ever tasted. And when it was empty, it filled again. There was always more bread and more wine until he was full, and then he set the horn back on Tellerchen's head. And when he went home that evening, he was not hungry, and his stepmother noticed. The next day, the boy went once more to the fields to look after the cattle, and in the middle of the day, when he was hungry, Tellerchen came once more. Throw your troubles away, be brave and be strong. Just do as I say, and nothing goes wrong. And he took the horn from Tellerchen's head, and he opened it, and out of the horn he took more wine and more bread. Oh, he was so sustained, so nourished by that good food and wine. Each day there was more, and each day he grew stronger and rosier-cheeked and fitter. And one evening his stepmother said to her daughter, "How is he feeding himself? Daughter, go and watch him in the fields tomorrow." And the stepsister, she followed her stepbrother into the fields the next day, and she hid behind a rock and she watched as Tellerchen came. And Tellerchen gave the boy his horn, and the boy took out wine and bread and ate. And when she went back to her mother said, well, you won't believe what I'm going to tell you. Was it a wood witch? No. Was it a griffin? Indeed, no, mother. Was it a dragon? No, he has a magic ox called Tellerchen, and the ox feeds him from his horn. What? Husband? Tellerchen must be slaughtered. What are you saying, wife? That ox must be killed. The ox does not belong to me. It belongs to my son. Any one of the other cattle, I would do it gladly for you, my dear, but not Tellerchen. He belongs to my son. I will have that ox slaughtered. Otherwise, I leave. Well, the husband, he agreed. The boy was listening in his room through the door, and he heard all of this. He was dismayed, so sad. He went down from his room and outside to the shed where Tellerchen slept. And there he put his arms around his ox, nestling against his long hair. And Tellerchen's eyes opened, and he looked at the boy with his big brown eyes. Throw your trouble away, be brave and be strong. Just do as I say, and nothing goes wrong. Tomorrow, when they chase me to the slaughterhouse, be there at the door. Stand on a bench and throw yourself onto my back, and we will escape. Well, the next morning, the stepmother and his father and his stepsister, they ran chasing the ox Tellerchen towards the slaughterhouse to be killed. But there at the door the boy was waiting, stood on a bench, and he jumped onto Tellerchen's back, held on to his horns, and away they galloped. Tellerchen so fast they could not catch him.
Sister, and there's the boy and the bull. The oxen.
Eugene has the other part because
I'm still doing the sky,
so now Eugene has the bottom part.
Away and away and away they rode to a great meadow with long grass which was rich and green and good for the ox to eat. And there the boy and the ox, they made themselves a house, and all was well. But one day, when Tellerchen was grazing in the fields, a great beast of a bull, a white bull, appeared. Your ox is grazing on my land. Oh, does this belong to you? I will fight your ox by the gold bridge tomorrow and throw him under. The huge ox, so fat it was bursting, went away. And that evening, the boy told Tellerchen, put his arms round his neck and wept. Bring me tomorrow to the gold bridge. I will defeat the white bull. And there at the gold bridge the next day, the great white bull charged forward with its long sharp horns. But Tellerchen, quick, although much smaller, dodged and dived and tripped the great white bull and threw him under the gold bridge quickly.
I just need to finish it. Nearly finished. I actually do think this is quite good.
All was well. 3 more days passed, and suddenly there appeared, when Tellerchen was out in the fields, a brown bull. The brown bull came to the boy. It was not so big, about the same size as Tellerchen. Your ox is eating all my grass. Is this your land? Said the boy. Indeed it is. Tomorrow I will destroy your ox, Tellerchen, by the silver bridge. Well, that evening, the boy put his arms round Tellerchen and wept once more in sorrow. Oh, the brown bull will surely destroy you.
Troubles away, be brave and be strong. Just do as I say, and nothing goes wrong.
The next day, the boy took Tellerchen down to the silver bridge by the river. And there at the silver bridge, the brown bull charged forward. The brown bull was stronger than the huge white bull. All morning long they fought, tossing each other, until at the end of the morning, Tellerchen got the upper hand and drove the brown bull under the silver bridge. Tellerchen had won. All was well, but 3 more days passed. And on the 3rd day, a tiny bull, a scrawny bull, a black bull, all moth-bitten and weak, appeared. What are you doing on my land? Your ox, eating my grass. The boy laughed. That evening he said, Tellerchen, a little puny, weak, moth-bitten black bull says it's going to defeat you by the copper bridge.
What?
Ah. It is the black bull that will destroy me. Black Bull will throw me under the copper bridge. The boy began to cry. Throw your troubles away, be brave and be strong. Just do as I say, and nothing goes wrong. As he throws me under the copper bridge, run forward and take my left horn from my head. Take that left horn back to your father, but do not open it on the way. I will never see you again. And the next day, the boy and Tellerchen, they went down to the copper bridge, and there came the small black bull. And the black bull, ferocious, charged at Tellerchen. And he had sharp horns and gored Tellerchen in the side, but Tellerchen fought back bravely. He fought with his horns and gored the small black bull, and the blood flowed as they fought through the day, the long day, until the evening came and it grew dark. And there, as Tellerchen weakened, that small black bull threw Tellerchen under the copper bridge. But as he went, the boy darted forward and gripped hold of the left horn on Tellerchen's head and pulled it off as his favourite friend vanished and did not come back. And the boy, with sorrow in his heart, he climbed a hill and sat on the top of that hill all night, and in the morning he was so sad and so hungry. You know what he did? Is that a good idea?
No.
He took the horn that Tellerchen had given him. He opened the horn, and out of the horn appeared cattle. Hundreds. Cows, bulls, and oxen. And they filled the hill all around him. There were hundreds, and they were strong and healthy. The boy thought, how? Oh, if only I brought the horn back to my father. How can I bring all these cattle to my father? Oh, what a fool I am. And he sat on the hill and wept, because he did not know how to put all of those cattle back in that horn. And as he sat there all alone, there appeared in the sky a beast. A monstrous beast beating its leathery wings. A scaly, long-toothed, saucer-eyed, flame-breathed dragon. And the dragon beat its wings and came roaring down towards the boy. The long tail swinging behind landed.
That's not mine. Oh, you ruined it. Are they tumbling?
Why do you cry, child? All of these cattle. I released them from this horn. But now I must put them back to take them to my father. Aye, easy, said the dragon. That can be done. But if I do this for you, you will make me a promise. That when your life is full of joy, you will give me the one that you love more than any other, so that I can devour it. Well, the boy agreed, and the dragon struck its tail 3 times hard against the ground, and all of the cattle went charging towards the boy and into the horn where they had come from. The boy gladly took the horn and left the dragon and set off for home, and it took long days and nights to get there. And when he arrived, He said to his father, "Father, father, where is my stepmother and my stepsister?" "Well, they are long gone, my son, and good riddance to them. I am better off without them. So glad am I to see you." And he held the boy close to him. And his boy said, "Look, father, my gift for you." And he took Tellerchen's left horn and he opened it, and out of it came all of the cattle. There were cows that were brown, and there were those that were white, and those which had patches and patterns on their backs. There were large bulls and young bulls and cows and oxen. Oh, there were plenty, and they roamed on the fields with his father's own cattle, and now they had so plenty, so many, that they lived well. They farmed on that land. They had milk to spare. They had enough meat to feed all the villagers around, to fill their bellies, and especially those who were poor and needed it. And soon word reached everyone of the goodness of this father and son. In fact, word reached to the king. And one day the king rode up on his fine horse and said to the boy's father, "Your reputation in the land is great. May my daughter, the princess, marry your son." Well, the king's princess was beautiful. And soon it was agreed that the boy would marry her, and people came from far and wide. And the boy, when he met the princess, why, he loved her. The wedding was arranged. And at the end of the wedding, after the dancing, the boy and his bride, they went to the room, and there on the bed, to his amazement, there was a piece of white bread. A piece of bread just like the bread that Tellerchen used to give him from his horn. And at that moment, as he stood there holding that bread with the princess behind him, he heard a terrible sound. He looked behind, and there in the doorway was the dragon. Eyes like saucers, its jaws wide open. "Ah, you promised me that I, when your heart was full of joy, could eat the thing that you love the most. The one you love the most is your wife." And he opened his jaws, about to devour the princess. The boy, holding the bread, he heard the bread. The bread sang. "Throw your troubles away, be brave and be strong. Just do as I say, and nothing goes wrong." He knew this bread had come from Tellerchen. And he knew what he must do. He took that loaf of bread and he threw it at the dragon. And there before the dragon, the bread hovered in the air, and the bread chanted, "As seed I was sown, and then I was grown. I was mowed, I was threshed. I was ground, and I was sifted as flour. And then I was kneaded with water and baked until my eyes grew out of my body. This I put up with. Dragon, let you put up with it." And the dragon spun around and was twisted and turned and ground and sifted and kneaded and baked and burst into pieces. The people of the palace, they dragged the body of that terrible dragon out of the palace and into the open air, and flocks of ravens with their black wings came beating down, and they pecked at the dragon's flesh until the dragon's bones were white and bare.
It's a nice fan.
The dragon was defeated, And the boy, the young man, and his princess bride, they lived happily in that palace with the king, with a room for the boy's father, and they tended all of their cattle, their cows, their bulls, their oxen, and all the meat and the milk they had to spare. They shared it with those who needed it most. This is the Romanian story, the story of Tellerchen. Throw your troubles away, be brave and be strong. Just do as I say, and nothing goes wrong.